What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in today. We're going to take a look at 4 multi-string tapping riffs that take place in A minor pentatonic, and they kind of span between position 1 all the way up to position 3. Maybe we get into a little bit of position 4. We might stretch into that. So before we take a look at the tabs, let's just listen to what the riffs sound like first. So riff 1. Riff 2. 2 again. Riff 3. And then riff 4. Close. One more. All right, we'll get into that one a little closer. Okay, so before we get into the tabs, let's talk about a really important thing. Really important thing is you need to be aware and actually muting a lot of the strings that you're not playing when you're tapping. So, be using your hand, the palm of your hand, even into your wrist as you're kind of doing these riffs to mute like the lower strings, because we're not going to use those. We need to mute those because if we're not, they're gonna buzz and ring a little bit, and that's gonna interfere with the actual string that we're trying to play on, and it's gonna take away from it, the clarity and the punch and just everything. So with that being said, let's get into riff 1. All right, so I'm gonna take the distortion off my guitar because, why hide behind distortion? Let's make sure we're playing these nice and clean. You should practice these clean, because if you can play them clean, you can, definitely play it with distortion. So make sure you're doing yourself a favor and doing that first. Okay, so let's take a look at riff 1. All right, so riff 1. All right. Okay. So I'm going to start I tap with my middle finger. The reason why I do that is so I can continue to hold my pick with my index finger and thumb, tapping with my middle. All right, so the first note we're going to start with is a tap. Then we pull off to 8, pull off to 5. Now I have to, my next note after that is a tap on the 10th fret of B. When I do that, my pinky needs to basically travel to the B string at the same time as my middle finger does. Because it has to be there, because I'm immediately going to tap that note and pull off into that note, which I'm going to then pull off to the 5th fret. I'm going to do the same thing when I switch to G, where I tap that 9, 7, pull off to 7, pull off to 5, and then I'm going to tap 10, 7, pull off, 5, hammer on to 7. So go nice and slow with this riff. And then build some speed. All right, so that is riff 1. Let's take a look down at riff 2. Okay, let's get that back into frame. A little more. Sorry, people. Okay, riff 2 takes place with our left hand mainly being in pattern 2 of the pentatonic scale, except for that note that we stretch to on the 12th fret. That kind of falls into pattern 3. So that's what we're going to be playing with our left hand. We're going to be tapping with our right hand on 15, 13, 12, 14. So you'll notice one thing. When I play this riff, it looks like I'm starting with a tap, but I'm really not. I'm actually using my tapping finger to pick that note, which is on the 8th fret. And then I hammer on to the 10th fret on B. And then I do the same thing where I pick, but it looks like I'm tapping, but actually picking. So I hear this note down here, hammer on a 12, and then I tap. You could also, instead of tapping, you could use your pick and just go pick. So either way, whatever you would like to do. I like doing the tapping because I think it looks kind of cool that way, like you're tapping some extra notes. Might confuse some people. I don't know. Okay. So let's proceed. I got my, however you want to play those first, few notes. So I'm going to once I get to that 15 on that first tap, I'm going to pull off to 12, pull off to 8. Now I'm going to hammer on to 13, pull off to 10, pull off to 8, 12, hammer on, 12 pit, tap, pull off, pull off. So that is riff 2. Riff 3 is going to be in the same location, but we're going to play it slightly differently. Okay. So now I'm starting off on tap on 14 on D, pull off to 7, hammer on to 10, hammer on G12, pull off to 7, 9, and then 13, pull off to 8, hammer on to 10, 15, pull off to 8, 12, hammer on 15, or tap 15, 12, 8, and then I hammer on that last note with my third finger on 10. If you just need to work on getting that hammer on, you're really going to have to kind of strike hard on that very last note. Okay, so that is riff 3. Moving on to riff 4. I think riff 4 is pretty fierce. Or maybe it's not. I think it kind of is, though. Okay, so riff 4. Now we're in with our left hand position 3. Stretching into position 4. And I guess, wow, we're hammering in, or tapping into position 5 or 1. I guess that's sort of our root, our A note. So that's 1. Okay, so for this one in particular, I like to pick. I don't do the tapping thing for this one. Where I'll pick 10, hammer on 13, pick 10. So maybe I might just practice those first 6 notes. And then I'm going to release. Okay, now then we're going to add in, once we do that, tap to 15, release to 13, 10, 14, 12, 9, 14. Oop, added 1 extra note. Keep adding that 12. Okay, so those are some tapping riffs that hopefully bring your game up a little bit. You can sort of see patterns where they're falling within those hopefully familiar pentatonic shapes. Really practice these slow and on a clean channel, and make sure that you are muting those strings that are not meant to be played. All right, thank you so much for tuning in. Like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Thank you.